Tonight, should Texas lawmakers force social media companies to keep Texans on their platforms despite what they say? How far does free speech go? We're breaking it down.
Plus, Bell County planning a menu of new projects worth a combined $138 million. A look at what those projects are and how taxpayers would be impacted.
And high clouds are starting to move into Texas. That's a sign that we may have more clouds than sun as we head towards your Easter weekend. We'll look at that forecast together. Your 25 News starts right now.
Connecting Central Texas. This is 25 News.
Social media users in Texas may soon have the freedom to post any kind of political views they want without the threat of being kicked off a platform. Well, maybe.
The Texas Senate approving a bill today that would prevent companies like Twitter and Facebook from banning Texas users.
Now, it's not law yet, but could certainly get to Governor Abbott's desk. 25 News reporter Joel Lopez has more tonight.
In the digital era, millions are connected through the tap of a screen.
It's just so unregulated that it has great potential for good and for freedom of speech, but it also has a lot of potential for bad.
For Jackson Cockrell, apps like Twitter feel like the Wild West of keyboard warriors.
Because what happens is you have two different sides on social media. They're just so polarized that the people who agree with you are going to be like, yeah, cool. And the people who don't are going to be like, who cares? I'm not going to listen anyways.
In an effort to protect freedom of speech, early this morning, the Texas Senate approved a bill that prevents apps with over 100 million monthly users like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from banning Texans from their sites for their political views.
I think if people want to post on social media, at the end of the day, that's their doings. And so this is just giving them more freedom to do that.
The bill would also require the platforms to disclose their content policies and create reports on what they take down while allowing users to appeal. But people like Oliver Gordon say social media isn't as informative as people think.
There's actually research that has been done that shows that the way algorithms work, they actually feed certain news to certain people depending on what they're searching. And so it's basically, they're going to give you what you're interested in, and maybe even a little bit more radical than that.
Gordon says the bill would give people more freedom of speech, but with great power comes great responsibility.
I think the most healthy thing for people to do would be to look at both sources, subscribe to an ultra right source and an ultra left source, and then somewhere in the middle, and that way you're not only filling yourself up with one thing.
For Gordon, he's quit all social media apps and says he feels more connected now than through endless scrolling. Reporting in Waco, Joel Lopez, 25 News.
Joel, thank you. The bill is heading to the House for approval, and it would likely face a legal challenge if it's signed into law. Websites like Parler and Gab, which are popular with conservatives, would be left out of the bill because they have less than 100 million monthly users. In January, Twitter purged more than 70,000 accounts linked to the conspiracy theorist group QAnon. Today, Senate Republicans also advancing another bill, this one limiting early voting hours, stopping drive-through voting, and giving more power to poll watchers. It also makes it illegal for local elections officials to send applications to vote by mail to voters, even if they qualify.
Meanwhile, a New York Democrat and Texas Republican want to tackle the growing crisis down at the southern border. The U.S. House members proposing a $1 billion bill that would address funding and resource shortfalls. But to get the money, the agencies would have to come up with a plan to curb the growing number of migrant crossings. If passed, the funding could prevent children from being held in those border custody facilities for longer than they should.
Well, here's something you probably aren't expecting to hear. Governor Greg Abbott says cartels are using TikTok to recruit people in Texas to help with smuggling operations.
These are two pictures from TikTok. And these are ads or videos and things that are being run by cartels on TikTok trying to recruit people in Texas to assist them commit their crime.
Today's press conference was to give an update on Operation Lone Star, the initiative to stop the smuggling of people and drugs into the state. Governor Abbott says they have already made a huge number of arrests.
In 28 days, the Texas Department of Public Safety has made 598 criminal arrests. They've also made more than 16,000 referrals of illegal immigrants to Border Patrol.
The The operation has also led to the seizure of 14 pounds of cocaine, 23 firearms, millions of dollars, and the arrest of 9 gang members. The U.S. could set a new record for migrants at the border this year. A new projection shows Border Patrol could encounter more than 2 million people there before September 30th. The projection is subject to change, though, especially if the Biden administration modifies policies or conditions change in Latin America.
The situation is going from bad to worse inside the Bell County Jail. Overcrowding is now a huge problem there, according to the county judge. Tonight, Jarrell Baker is looking at what could be one very costly fix.
Bell County Judge David Blackburn says it's bad. The county jail is overflowing with inmates and has been for at least a couple months.
Over the next few weeks, we will probably have 7 or 8 counties that we're under contract with so that we have places that we can place our inmates in because we simply don't have room here in the county.
Blackburn says they have 1,070 inmates assigned to the jail, but 80 are already incarcerated in 3 other counties. It's a temporary solution costing a lot of money, perhaps as much as $2 million by September if nothing changes.
There are no good or easy or inexpensive solutions to the challenge of addressing overcapacity in the jail.
It's why Bell County wants to issue up to $138 million in new bonds. Blackburn says 80 to 90% of that would go to the jail expansion.
It could be anywhere from, I would say, probably around 600 to 900 beds that would be added in capacity.
If approved by county commissioners, this would be the first jail expansion since 2008 and one of the largest new bonds issued. While some believe the new debt could be trouble for taxpayers, Blackburn says they're confident taxpayers won't have to spend a dime on the projects.
All of the commissioners and myself have made the commitment that the construction cost associated with the jail expansion would be done within the existing tax rate.
Judge Blackburn says they also plan to create new administrative offices, add an archive section to the county museum, and consider other projects as well. The court will vote on the new bonds in May. In Bell County, Jarrell Baker, 25 News.
Now, indeed, if they do move forward, the judge says the new project would be done in the next 3 years.
Tonight we have updates on the passing of Trooper Chad Walker. On April 6th, visitation will be open to the public from noon to 8 in the evening at the Grosbeck Funeral Home. Visitors can come to pay their respects daily from 8 to 5 every day after, including on Good Friday. Funeral services for Trooper Walker will be held at 10 a.m. and April 7th at the Grosbeck High School football stadium. The Grosbeck community is still trying to come to terms with what happened to Trooper Walker. The Mutual Assistance Group, or MAG Inc., is starting the hashtag Walker Strong initiative. It aims to enhance car windows to better protect law enforcement officers if they're targeted. They say the goal is to install bulletproof or bullet-resistant windows on all law enforcement vehicles in the state. And now let's get a first check of our weather with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Matt Hines. Matt, we might need to pull out the pastel sweaters.
Yeah, we may need that as we head in through the overnight hours. Again, last night we were just above freezing here. Officially made it down to 33. Tonight, temperatures are already on the way down again. It's down to 50 in Waco, 50 in Killeen as well, and it's 54 in Temple. No 40s just yet, but I do think we will be sliding into the 40s here over the next hour or so. And as the wind continues to come down, we will likely have those temperatures get down into the 30s by morning. You can see it's calm in the Brazos Valley right now, just 5-6 miles per hour for Waco, Temple, and Killeen. And we do have Easter weekend coming right up for you. So tonight, temperatures getting chilly again. We'll be down into the middle 30s for you. And then as we make our way into your Good Friday, highs will be near 70 degrees. May have a couple showers around as we head into Saturday and Sunday. It's not going to be a washout, but I think the clouds will rule the day more than the sunshine. And look at that, temperatures staying into the 60s. It will warm up eventually, and we do have a string of 80s on the way. I'll show you that in the 10-day forecast coming up.
All right, Matt, we'll see you in just a minute. The spring allergy season is in full swing, and if it isn't already taking a toll on you, chances are good someone in your home is suffering. 25 News reporter Adam Schindler has more.
Millions of people around the world suffer from seasonal allergies, and the symptoms are all too familiar to Central Texans.
Usually things like runny nose, stuffy nose, itchy eyes, some sore throat or drainage. Those are common symptoms. For people that have asthma, they may notice that their asthma gets a little flared up if they're going outside.
Each season has its own source of pollen and allergy-causing plants. Right now, That source would be trees.
Spring season usually goes from about February to June or so. And so we're looking at trees like oak and mulberry, ashes, elms. It really depends on the time in the spring.
This year, things are a little different though, thanks to extreme cold weather in February. We're seeing high pollen counts for plants that are not normally seen in the spring.
Because of that freeze that we had back in February, the cedar's been kind of delayed, so we're still getting some cedar counts even now.
There are also simple things you can do to avoid heavy exposure to airborne pollens, like not opening the windows in your home.
You do that and you're going to, on a high pollen count day, you're going to get a lot of pollen in your house.
Experts also recommend showering as soon as you get home and wiping off household pets before bringing them indoors. This should help keep the pollen count down in your home. In Bell County, Adam Schindler, 25 News.
Adam, thank you. Of course, there are a few more things you can do to help. Over-the-counter meds can always provide at least some partial relief. Clearing out your nasal cavities with a warm water solution is another option, as is removing your carpet entirely.
Today is opening day and people from across the nation are heading to ballparks to catch a game, if it's allowed. How stadiums and fans are staying safe this season. And Pfizer giving an update on its COVID vaccine, how long that shot protects you from the virus. That's up next.
Baseball season officially back in full swing with fans in the stands today, but for opening day, things are looking a little bit differently this year because of the pandemic. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Ready. Crowd into
the batter's up and the fans are back. For the first time since 2019, the loyalty's stronger than ever.
We'll give blood if we have to get inside.
Exactly. This family driving all the way from Illinois to the Bronx to watch their favorite team. And fans are making sure to cover all their bases when it comes to COVID.
We went to our local clinic, got tested. It's definitely worth it.
The New York Yankees and Mets are only allowing 20% capacity. Spectators required to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test. Masks mandatory at all stadiums. The Texas Rangers are opening at 100% capacity with an option for distance seating.
The Mets and Nationals were scheduled to play today but had to postpone due to a possible COVID-19 exposure, with infections going up in more than half the country.
This is a critical moment in our fight against the pandemic.
The CDC says more than 150 million COVID-19 shots have made it into arms. In fact, at least 11 baseball stadiums have operated as mass vaccination sites. But as we make headway, officials are urging everyone to keep their guard up.
President Biden telling ESPN earlier it is a mistake for the Texas Rangers to allow full capacity at their home games. He says, quote, they should listen to Dr. Fauci, the scientists and the experts. I think it's not responsible. Globe Life Field can seat over 40,000 folks, and they're allowing as many as buy tickets to show up on Monday. They're hoping for 100%. Elsewhere, capacity will be limited to about 12% at Boston and Washington. Colorado, the Rockies, they're going with about 43%. The Astros will be at 50%.
Across Texas, more than 11 million COVID-19 vaccines have been distributed. So far, over 7 million Texans have had at least one dose of a shot, and over 4 million are now considered fully vaccinated after getting 2 doses or 1 shot with the J&J vaccine. Also today, COVID hospitalizations in Texas have dipped below 3,000. That's for the first time since June 17th. Right now, a little more than 2,900 patients are in a hospital room. The Biden administration plans to spend $10 million in an ad campaign to encourage people to get vaccinated. The Department of Health and Human Services is using the slogan, "We can do this," to inspire people. The agency is launching 4 new TV ads this month using that slogan. One of them is in Spanish and another aimed at Black Americans.
New data from Pfizer says its vaccine is effective against a variant that originated in South Africa. That variant could affect how well existing vaccines work. This is the first time data shows a vaccine is capable of providing protection against all these variants we hear about. The new data could help Pfizer receive full FDA approval for their vaccine. Protection from the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine lasts at least 6 months after that second dose. Previous studies say the protection lasted only about 90 days. The company is studying the vaccine in more than 46,000 volunteers right now. None of them experienced what the CDC calls severe disease or reaction. This makes the shot at least 100% effective against severe cases. The FDA is greenlighting several at-home COVID-19 tests. Over-the-counter products from Abbott and Quidel are intended for asymptomatic people and for those testing for antigens. The company Abbott says it will start shipping tests to retailers in the next few weeks.
The state is seeking almost $2 million from a Texas-based energy company. What happened 3 years ago that led up to this?
Today, Governor Abbott naming Will McAdams, pictured there, the president of the Associated Builders and Contractors of Texas, to the board of the Public Utility Commission. This is the governor's first recent nomination. The agency oversees the state's power grid, ERCOT, and all 3 board members recently resigned after February's deadly power outages and winter weather. McAdams still needs to be confirmed by the state Senate. Atmos Energy faces a record $1.6 million fine for a fatal natural gas explosion in Dallas 3 years ago. The Railroad Commission of Texas says Atmos didn't find the gas leaks in the days and months before that blast, a blast that killed 12-year-old Linda Rogers. Dallas-based Atmos has until mid-April to submit plans for fixing the problems regulators found. Turned into a beautiful Thursday out there. Matt, I know everyone is curious about the holiday weekend.
And it has arrived here in Central Texas as tomorrow's Good Friday. A lot of folks off for tomorrow going into Saturday and Sunday as well. Our extra coat, Eagle Eye and Copper's Cove, not looking too bad at all. Lots of clear skies and temperatures are already cooling off pretty quickly. 55, dew points down to 30, so it will continue to cool probably down into the 30s tonight, and winds will be out of the east-southeast at 6 miles per hour and generally falling less than 5 miles per hour after midnight. Again, clear skies, dry air. That allows that heat to radiate back out into space and we cool off. So another chilly night here across our region. There are some high clouds back to the west. I think those stay just to our west for now, allowing us to continue to cool off tonight. But those clouds will continue to work on in. So you're going to see a few more clouds in the sky tomorrow as our disturbance here across Southern California will continue to work its way off toward the east. And that is going to be bringing a chance for maybe a couple of showers as we head toward the weekend. It will not be a washout, but a few showers Saturday and Sunday cannot be ruled out. As far as temperatures go, with the added cloud cover, it's probably going to stay in the 60s all the way through Easter, and then wouldn't you know it, it warms right up as we head into next week after the holiday weekend, from the 70s up into the 80s, maybe even upper 80s by the end of next week. But as we look at our future track, right now, skies are clear. It should stay that way as we head into tomorrow with some clouds starting to filter in, especially west of I-35. This is stopping here at 5 o'clock. Then Friday night going into Saturday morning, notice how the clouds start to take over. So we will probably be partly to mostly cloudy to start off our Saturday. Then those clouds are going to be sticking around through lunchtime and going on into the afternoon. Could be an isolated shower or two as well. Isolated is the key word here. I don't think it'll be widespread, but a couple showers again will be possible as we push through Saturday going into Sunday. So tonight, another chilly one out there. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 30s. Now the record low tomorrow is 34 degrees from 1975. We're going to be close. We're supposed to be at 51 this time of year, but we'll see if we can get to that record. Right now forecasting just above it. Then tomorrow, highs into the upper 60s and low 70s. That is below normal for this time of year, where we're supposed to be into the mid-70s, and those below normal temperatures, as I showed you, going to continue here in the 10-day forecast. Near 70 Friday, 67 degrees Saturday, 20% chance of an isolated shower, and again, more clouds and sun. Not saying that we won't see the sun at all over the weekend, but I think we'll see more clouds than we will the sunshine. 77, though, by Monday. Here come the 80s at us, even those upper 80s by Thursday of next week, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms. Then a cold front will be close to us. Does it come through? Does it hold just to the north? That will determine eventual temperatures by the end of the 10-day forecast, and we'll continue to tweak those for you as we get closer.
Well, there's a quarterback controversy in Waco coming up in sports. We'll check in on Baylor's quarterback battle as spring ball rolls on. Well, the chase is on. Nearly midway through spring football at Baylor University, the quarterback battle is heating up, and it could last well into the fall. Sean Bell, the former Baylor quarterback, was moved to a new role as Baylor's quarterbacks coach this offseason. He says so far, no quarterback has stepped forward as the leader in the group right now. It's a three-horse race. Junior Gary Bohannon, who served as Charlie Brewer's backup the last 2 years, Sophomore Jacob Zeno, who made a few appearances last year and famously led the Bears to a comeback in the Big 12 championship game in 2019. Also in the hunt, Blake Shapen, a two-sport star who stopped playing baseball to focus on this quarterback battle. Bell saying the battle is making everyone better.
If we feel like there's a time that we know who the leader's going to be, who the general's going to be, then we'll make that decision so we can kind of have that leader of the offense and that face of the program. But ultimately, it's about getting better every day.
We're all friends. We joke around. We hang out outside of football. But, we're competitive, and we push each other to be better every day.
The Bears will finish spring ball with their spring game April 24th at McLean Stadium. Baylor basketball is gearing up for their first Final Four in 71 years, but for one Baylor assistant, it'll be a family affair. Alvin Brooks III will square off with his father, who's an assistant at Houston. The two shared a moment together after their Elite Eight wins, and now they'll share a special moment on the court in the Final Four.
That'd be a lifetime memory, just for, to see him walking up with a Final Four hat on, and me having a Final Four hat.
It's hard to get here, but then to get to the Final Four in the same year, and then you guys are going to play each other in the very first semifinal game, just unbelievable.
The Bears tip things off in Indianapolis Saturday at 4:15. Baylor baseball looking to rebound from a rough start to Big 12 play with a non-conference series with North Carolina A&T. Second inning, Tyler Thomas was dealing. He gets a pair of strikeouts to end the inning unscathed. The students out in right field loving it. Then in the bottom of the inning, 3-0 already. Trey Richardson with a 2-out single to left field. That scores Cardoza Oquendo. Next pitch, it's Andy Thomas with his own single to left. They beat the throw to the plate as Baylor gets the series off to a hot start with the win. And finally, it's the second best two words in baseball. Opening day. Professional baseball is back, and in their first game back, the Rangers were in a doozy. 5 runs in the first inning, but they wind up losing 14-10. One game down, only 161 left to go. Well, that'll do it for sports. Coming up Friday, we'll hear from Scott Drew and the Baylor Bears as we inch one day closer to their big game in the Big Dance. Reporting in Waco, Jack Allen, 25 Sports.
All right, Jack, thank you. Jimmy Kimmel is up next. Good Morning Texas on the air tomorrow at 5 a.m.
Thanks for being with us on this Thursday. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night.